This is John Forrest, 16-time funny car champion. And I'm here with American Hot Rod Entertainment. And if you want to be entertained, this is the show, and Darren is the guy to do it.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a special edition of Inside the NHRA Pomona Edition as we break down the 2023 Lucas Oil NHRA Winternationals from the newly rebranded In-N-Out Pomona Dragstrip. As always, I'm your host, Darren Williams Jr. As you can see, I am live from the all-new In-N-Out Pomona Dragstrip, and joining me, as always, the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Dave W. How's it going, Dave?
It's going great. What did you think of the show in person today? Was it pretty good out there?
Oh, man, the racing was great today. It's funny. So, obviously, you know, Pomona usually kicks off the year in February. We're in late March, early April. It's not April now. Yeah. You know, even though it is technically spring, it still felt like the Winter Nationals. Cool weather, great racing. So, all in all, I had a great time. As you can see, beautiful In-N-Out Pomona Dragstrip behind me. Thank you to everybody who's tuning in. Already 70 people live now watching. Thank you guys all for tuning in. Make sure to like this show, share this show. Let everybody know. Before we get started, let everybody know we are breaking down the 2023 Lucas Oil NHRA Winternationals from legendary Pomona. Dave, what was it like for you watching at home?
It was pretty entertaining. I thought qualifying was a little bit more entertaining than race day, but race day made up for it with a lot of surprise upsets and drivers going rounds and winning first round of their career that you didn't think that they would go that far in. And that explosion by J.R. Todd was definitely a surprise too. That's feel bad for that team. That's 2 cars, 2 bodies in 2 days.
A weekend to forget for J.R. Todd and John Forrest. I mean, we're going to talk about it a little bit more in depth later in the show, but I mean, all around for those 2 dudes, it's really a weekend to forget.
Yeah, it really is. And, you know, first round exits for both after what happened yesterday. Not a good start to the season for John. Well, the whole JFR team on the funny car side struggled with another surprise first round loss by Robert Height to Terry Haddock of all people. But like they said, you got to get down the track, and Terry 4-0'd him to death today.
And I'll tell you what, you know, while we let people come in, you know, they've really In-N-Out burgered Pomona. In-N-Out burgered this place. I mean, you got In-N-Out burger everywhere, In-N-Out burger trucks, In-N-Out on a starting line, In-N-Out banners. I mean, they did it the way you're supposed to do it. And, you know, got to thank Lindsay Snyder and her whole team for stepping up and sponsoring this racetrack. They've done a great job, and, you know, they're here for the long haul. And I can't wait to see it. So, like I said, just some great racing. And you talk about our winners, Dallas Glenn getting a win in pro stock, another great win for him. I wouldn't say out of nowhere, but, you know, I think we were looking at Matt Hartford and Cameron Caruso coming in. Dallas Glenn, a well-deserved win here today. Justin Ashley, we're talking about In-N-Out. He gets the double-double. He wins the Mission Foods on Saturday, wins the national event on Sunday, back-to-back, you know, on the season and back-to-back at the Winter Nationals. And, I mean, so Justin Ashley, he's getting double-doubles. He's getting tacos. He's getting nachos, Mission Foods. I mean, he's getting everything. He's taking
it all. Yeah. What is your In-N-Out burger count for the weekend? Since you mentioned that they had so many trucks at the track, I'm assuming that you know, everywhere you stopped by, you had to stop by and grab one. What's the final count?
So you might be disappointed, but I had no In-N-Out burger this weekend.
Oh.
You want to know why? So as you guys all know, I'm from Southern California. I eat In-N-Out pretty regularly. So, you know, I'm not that excited for it. I'm excited they've stepped up and sponsored this racetrack. But, yeah, I didn't have any In-N-Out burger here this weekend. So, you know, yeah, might be kind of disappointing. So,
that's all right. How about any of the I saw that they had some pictures from an autograph session for the Mission Foods drivers, and they had a big display of food behind it. Is that just for display, or are they selling or giving out Mission Foods at the track now with their Too Fast, Too Tasty challenge?
I didn't see that, actually. I was walking around the pits, getting interviews all weekend long, talking to drivers, stuff like that. So I didn't quite see what was going on with the Mission Foods deal. I saw the autograph session, but I didn't see any food behind it. So not quite sure.
Yeah, it looked like in the pictures they at least had a bunch of their products stacked up on shelves and whatnot behind, kind of promoting the stuff that they offer. And I was just curious if there was a Mission Foods booth set up where you could sample some of their stuff too.
For For sure, for sure. But all in all, great race here today here at Pomona, the newly rebranded In-N-Out Burger Pomona Dragstrip 63rd annual Lucas Oil NHRA Winternationals. Before we get started, like I want to say, as always, thank you guys all for tuning in to this special edition of Inside the NHRA. Shout out to everybody who's tuning in on Competition Plus, YouTube, and Facebook, and everybody who's tuning in on the American Hot Rod Entertainment YouTube channel. Like, share, let everybody know we are breaking down the Lucas Oil NHRA Winternationals. And if you would like to, if you're watching on the American Hot Rod Entertainment YouTube channel, if you'd like to throw in a super chat, support the show, that will be greatly appreciated. $1, $5, whatever you want to give is greatly appreciated. So, Dave, you ready to kick this thing off?
Where are we starting it?
I'll leave that up to you. Where you want to start? I'll leave that up to you.
Well, it's probably best to start with Pro Stock since they ran first.
I was thinking funny car, though. So much calamity in funny car.
We'll go funny car.
I did let you decide. All right, ladies and gentlemen.
Funny car's got the biggest stories. I know that much.
Say it again.
Funny car is going to have the biggest stories. I know that much.
For sure. While we let the people come in, we'll say funny car and let's get into Pro Stock.
Yeah, sounds like a plan.
All right, let's get into the gear jamming, door slamming, factory hot rods, Pro Stock car. They don't call him 00 Dallas for nothing. He went a great 002 reaction time against our most recent winner, Cameron Caruso, in the semifinals, and he parlayed that into a win here at the 63rd annual Lucas Oil NHRA Winternationals. Dallas Glenn is your winner here in Pomona, Dave. Yeah,
a great start to the season for him. Struggled a little bit the first two races, comes back. I believe one of the qualifying sessions, I think it might have been Friday, he had a perfect light. He had a 000 light in qualifying, so he's always working that tree. And what the biggest surprise was, they get to the final round, and the car that's been seemingly quicker all day and would have the better advantage, qualified higher, had run better all through eliminations quicker than Dallas. Matt Hartford, he ends up leaving first, and Dallas outruns him. So,
yeah,
ironic turn of events there in the final round, but great win for Dallas Glenn for sure.
Mm-hmm. And like you guys all know, we usually show highlights of everybody's days, the race winner and a runner-up. But just, the quick turnaround with being here on the West Coast and everything in a short turnaround, I could not get Pro Stock highlights in there. So we're just going to jot them down. I'm going to say them out loud for you guys right here.
What are they doing? They're pulling around Justin Ashley's car behind you. What do they got going on over there?
Oh, wow.
He's pulling it out of victory lane?
Yeah, just pulling out the winner circle probably. They were just taking winner circle pictures. Yeah. Good catch, though. I like that. In the first round, Dallas Glenn from the number 4 qualified position took on Chris McGahey, took him out with a great 653 with a 5 at 210. Matt Hartford was actually low ET of round number 1 with another 653, but a quicker 653. In the second round, Dallas Glenn took on your most recent runner-up, Bo Butner, in the second round, 654 with a 7 at 210 to move into the semifinals. And like I just mentioned just a second ago, taking on Cameron Caruso, a great drag race, double 657s. Dallas Glenn goes 657.3 at 209 to Cameron Caruso's 657.4 at 209. Dallas Glenn 002 on the reaction timer to move into the final round. And in the final round, he'll take on Matt Hartford. And I'll tell you what, Matt Hartford has had a great car the past 2 races on tour. In the first round, 653 with a 2 at 211. Low ET of the round right there. Actually, low ET of race day. Then the second round, taking on Erica Enders. Erica finally gets her first round win of the season, but Matt Hartford, 654 with a 5 at 210 to move into the semifinals. And then the semis taking on Aaron Stanfield, 655.8 at 210 to Aaron Stanfield, 658.7 at 209 to move into the final round. So it's Matt Hartford, it's Dallas Glenn, your final round here at Pomona. Let's take a look at that final round right now.
2 and 4 in qualifying for the final round. Winternationals trophy goes to Phoenix, or does it go back to Mooresville, North Carolina? Dallas Glenn had a 002 reaction time the last time. He might need that again. Matt Hartford's got him a pretty darn good race car right now. Hartford leaves first by a couple of thousandths of a second. And Dallas outran him. 654 beats 655. Matt Hartford left first, 016 to 025. But by the time they'd gone 60 feet, Dallas had made that up. And then he just kept on keeping on. Margin at the finish line stripe, 3 thousandths of a second. And 00 Dallas had the 00 when he needed it, had the HP when he needed it.
Dallas Glenn, I don't know where you pulled that performance out, but you found what you needed for 3,000th margin of victory down there, Dallas. How tight was it from your sitting point?
No, I looked over and he was right there, and I knew he's been outrunning me down the back, so I knew it was tight. It got real loose on me from 1,000 foot on. I don't know how he felt, but nice job, dude. Nice job. It feels really good. I've never won here at Pomona. I've been in the final round once in stock. I've got the Whiteleys are here running. I've got Ken and Judy Blacker here. We're going to see all the Rad Torque people from Rad Torque Systems in Silver State here at the next one. Jim Greenleaf from Summit is here. So this feels awesome right here. This is great.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
How about that? 00 Dallas. Dallas Glenn gets the win here today here in Pomona. He used the 002 reaction time against your most recent winner, Cameron Caruso, in the semifinals. Parlay that into a final round appearance. Took down, I would say Matt Harford has had a great car the past 2 races, takes him down in the final round to get the win. First win of the year for Dallas. And I'm not quite sure, so don't quote me on this. You can correct me if I'm wrong, Dave. I was listening in the media center. I believe Dallas Glenn has moved up to the points lead.
Yes, he has. He leads Cameron Caruso and Matt Hartford by 5 points. They are tied for second. So, we're 3 races into the season. Where's Erica? Where's Aaron? Where's, Greg? Where's all the guys that we thought were going to be up there? You got your top 5 in points: Dallas Glenn, Cameron Caruso, Matt Hartford, Troy Coughlin Jr., Bo Butner, Aaron Stanfield, Greg Anderson, 6th, 7th, Kyle Koreski, tied with Greg for 7th, Mason McGahey, 9th, Christian Quadra, 10th, tied with Erica Enders, who is currently, tied for 10th, 3 races in. Like you mentioned, first round win of the year for that team. It seemed like that KB kind of had the upper hand here at Pomona.
Yeah.
Maybe they're turning it around, or maybe they just had the setup for the track. It seems like everybody, for the most part, if you look through, because they're so close all the way through, I would say it's almost a toss-up in horsepower between the 2 teams. It's managing the starting line. It's getting that 60-foot time, hitting the shift lights, and getting it down the track seems to be the difference between winning and losing. And as of right now, it almost seems like you've got nearly 16 identically prepared cars, and it's comes down to the driver in this situation.
Yeah, man, Pro Stock has been so fun this year. And, you kick off the year, you're thinking like, man, is Elite, the team to beat right off the box. But with Troy Coughlin, his dominant performance, but the last 2 races, it's been KB Titan, Cameron Caruso on Phoenix, and now Dallas Glenn here at Pomona. And not just Dallas Glenn, you got Matt Harford, who ran strong in Phoenix, who has KB Titan horsepower and gets to the final here as well. You mentioned Eric Anders.
And won the Mission Foods Challenge on Saturday.
And won the Mission Foods Challenge, yeah. Yeah, we got to mention that as well. Matt Harford won the Too Fast, Too Tasty Mission Foods Challenge yesterday to pick up the bonus points and the cash. You mentioned Erica Enders gets her first round win of the season. Greg Anderson went out first round. That was a surprise as well. He had some problems right there, turn on the red light in the first round. But again, I want to harken to Matt Harford. Announced, a partnership with a new sponsor here this weekend, Gittrex, which is global electronic technology. Those guys over there. A strong car in Phoenix. Comes to Pomona, continues that performance, wins the Mission Foods Challenge, gets to the final round. Do you think this is something that he can continue throughout the year and literally be a player for this championship?
Well, you'd like to hope so. You don't really see anything that would prevent it, but who would have thought that Erica would have went off the win streak that you did it last year and struggled so much at the start of this season? So it could be just that they're getting hot at the right time. They're hitting the tune-ups just right. You always hope to carry it as much as you can, but we're 3 races in, 3 different winners. They've had a very good car, but it's hard to say. I kind of feel like that Pro Stock might be pretty wide open this year.
For sure.
I would say that they're probably a consistent round winner, but with as close as the competition is, it only takes somebody to step up with a whole shot, or just a slight rattle of the tire, or just left of the groove or right of the groove, and you're out. So it's going to be a fun season.
We're getting first round matchups like Kyle Koreski, Troy Coughlin Jr. first round. Last week we got Greg Anderson, Troy Coughlin first round. Even in the first round, we're getting these titanic matchups. Pro Stock is going to be so wide open. I'm really looking forward to seeing how it all plays out. Anybody else you want to talk about here in Pro Stock today, Dave?
Well, even qualifying has been kind of upside down. If you look at the list, the way it ends up at the final order, you had Erica on the bottom half of the field. You had Greg on the bottom half of the field. Or no, I think Greg was in the top half this time. But a lot of surprise drivers that were coming from the bottom half. And, Alan said it kind of went according to plan, aside from Erica from 10th and Greg's red light in the first round by rolling the beams. And then you get to the final 4, and it's 1, 2, 3, and 4 qualifiers. Yeah. So the cream rises to the top. I mean, there's so many different ways of looking at it. It's hard to say. Definitely sad to see the struggles that Alan Brzezinski's having with the Dodge. He's come to all the events. He's tried, had trouble at Pomona again, and was unable to make the show. They said they're going to still work on it a little bit more and try again in Vegas. So, just shout out to them for still coming out here and trying to put on a show and trying to make the Dodge power work. There's nobody else that's willing to accept and take that challenge, unfortunately. Also, it's very surprising to see that Fernando Quadra Sr. Never made a clean run down the track. 3 passes, his best time was a 13:10, 19th out of 19 cars. Very surprising. They got the power. They just couldn't get the chassis set up right. And, they were kind of having of the opinion in the announce booth over qualifying that there might be something in that car. Maybe they got a bad shock and they don't know it, or something that's broke or bent, or something's causing it to just not get down the track. And that's very unusual for that team because they are pretty solid on race day.
Definitely. Let's now take a look at how your favorite driver fared here today here at Pomona, and take a look at the Mission Foods Challenge, Too Fast, Too Tasty Challenge for Chicago. So remember, we don't do the Too Fast, Too Tasty Challenge out the 4 wide races, which are the next 2 races on tour in Las Vegas and Charlotte. So the next race will actually be contested in Chicago in a few months. And as we re-rack them, it would be Cameron Caruso taking on Dallas Glenn and Matt Harford taking on Aaron Stanfield. So some great matchups in the Mission Foods Too Fast, Too Tasty Challenge when we get to Route 66 Raceway, the return of Route 66 Raceway. And Dave, you might be there, correct?
I might. Yeah. You never know.
We'll see.
I'm surprised that they decided not to do it at the 4 wides. I think that'd be the perfect place because you could have all 4 of the cars in one run. Just run them off. Last pair of qualifying, and first, second, third, fourth. That's how they get the points.
Yeah.
It's real easy. 1 pass. That's all it takes.
Before we move on, I want to take a look at some comments. Thank you to everybody who's tuning in here today. Jimmy Ryan says, "Hey guys, happy Sunday." Happy Sunday, Jimmy, and thank you for tuning in to Inside the NHRA. Drag Racing Central says, if this race proved anything, it proved less track prep. I don't know about that, but Drag Racing Central, he's very committed on his takes. My mom tuning in is happy Sunday, everyone, from sunny Southern California. Shout out to mom right there. And then we got the aunt in the building as well. Let's go. Looking forward to Winter Nationals recap. Thank you to mom for tuning in. And then Al Yoop says, I love Lucas Oil's On the Edge. Tom Lucas tuning in. He says, hello from Jonesville, South Carolina. So hello, Tom. Thank you for tuning in to Inside the NHRA. What else? Let's see what else we got here. Oh, we got the aunt again tuning in. Super chat, super sticker. Appreciate it. $19.99. I want to give a shout out to the aunt for giving the super chat out there. Really do appreciate it. Dragger Sister says, what did you think of the Mission Foods Challenge being there in person? I thought it was great. Kind of the same of how I saw it on NHRA.tv. They hype it up. Everybody has their own little theme song. They really, do it big. And it kind of slows down qualifying just a little bit too much for me, just a little bit. But other than that, I really dug it. And like I said, really adds that intensity to Saturday qualifying. So I dug it. I'm looking forward to seeing how it all plays out for the rest of the season. And then George says, can we just make Gainesville the start of the season from now on? Did everyone see how empty Pomona was? Quite sad. So since I was there, obviously Pomona was a sellout. Gainesville was a sellout. Phoenix was a sellout, especially on Saturdays. Pomona has been the one track that has been greatly affected by coronavirus, COVID-19. And obviously we can't make that excuse no more because it's been a few years now. But I believe Saturday crowd was really good. I know the right side was completely tarped off with In-N-Out Burger and Summit, tapers. But Saturday was a great crowd. Sunday was a good crowd. I believe by the time we get back here in November for the World Finals, I think they'll have the other side open up. Drag racing is the birthplace, is the home of drag. Drag racing is Southern California is the birthplace of drag racing. That's what I'm trying to say. And I think it's going to come back around, and I think it will be okay. But, let's start the season in Pomona. What do you think, Dave?
No opinion. I don't care where it starts. It don't matter to me because I don't live in either one of them. So I just watched it on TV. No, it should have been, it should start the season in February. It's really weird to see Pomona in April. Definitely weird. And I thought that the right side stands were getting taken down or partially replaced by a permanent In-N-Out Burger food stand.
Is that what's happening?
I thought that was part of the track plan.
Is that what's happening?
I thought so. That could have changed, but I thought when they released the stuff, there was supposed to be a complete building built, so they didn't have to bring in their trailers for that. But I thought it was a good Saturday crowd. No, it
Yeah, it was a
wasn't
great Saturday
sellout.
crowd.
It wasn't standing room only. You could see some bare spot in the bleachers, but it looked much more filled in than it had been in the past. Sunday, by the time they got around to the finals, was a little bit weak, but I think that the Southern California crowd sometimes can be a partisan crowd, and when force is out, they tend to it's time to go home. You know, when your favorite's out, you don't really stay to watch the rest. So, you know, like we always say, I don't watch the drag racing to watch the grandstands in the background.
Yeah,
that's what I'm there for. I'm there to watch cars going on the track. So.
Nah, like I said, it was a great crowd Saturday. It's definitely was a lot better than in years past. You know, 2021 was really light. 2022 it really came back around. I feel like this was a great crowd for, you know, everything considered here this year. And like I said, by the time we get to Pomona for the World Finals in November, I think it'll be come back around, and they'll have the other side open, and you know, Pomona will be back in all its glory. So that's definitely what I believe.
Yeah, and I don't think. I mean, I wouldn't look forward to Vegas being a sellout. Joliet's not going to be a sellout. That place is huge. Even the first national event, I don't think was a sellout. So, yeah, I don't watch the race for the crowd. Watch the race for the race.
Michael says change the Winter Nationals name to April Fool's Nationals. And Tom Lucas, 3 races and great start. So an exciting season. I definitely do agree with that. But as we put a cap on Pro Stock Car, Dallas Glenn gets the win. Double O Dallas reigns true here in Pomona. So Pro Stocks in the books. Let's now move on to the floppers. Nitro Funny Car. How about it for the Hulk? The Hulk Hagen. Matt Hagen gets the win here today here at Pomona. Second win of the season for Matt Hagen. Second win in the first 3 races here in 2023. 45th career win overall. And I'll tell you what, Matt Hagen is now the second winningest funny car driver at Pomona behind John Forrest. But more than that, Matt Hagen gets it done in a Haas automation body. How about that? That was cool.
That was pretty cool. Yeah, and he even mentioned in his, I think it was the semifinal interview, he's like, let's get it done for the Stewart Haas car. So throw, you know, kind of a shout out to his Winston Cup or NASCAR teams and F1 team with Gene Haas.
Mm-hmm. And I'll tell you what, so Matt Hagen wins the Gainesville. You go to Phoenix, it's Caps and Height in the final. Then you come here and it's Caps and Hagen in the final. I mean, just like last year, Height, Hagen, and Caps, your big 3. I mean, they're starting off the season great. I know Height went out first round here today, but it's the big 3 in funny car once again.
It's starting that way, but you know what? If you look at the points, it's not the big 3 up top. Hagen leads Caps by 26, but Alexis is 3rd, and Robert's way back and forth, 71 back. So it may be the big 3 as far as results, but that early loss really hurt Robert. You know, Robert's got 1 win and 2 first-round losses, so I wouldn't call him the big 3 just yet.
Did Height go out first round or second round at Gainesville?
I thought it was first round, wasn't it? Maybe it was second. Sure. Might have been second. I know we didn't make the Mission Foods Challenge, so at least round 2. But you got 1 win and 2 early losses. That's not good consistency to start the season.
But you know what we can say, though? We talked about how Robert Height and that team last week, which was the Flavor Pack team, are the comeback kids. Well, we can call Matt Hagen and Ron Capps comeback kids, you know, here this weekend as well. Matt Hagen qualified 10. He wins the race. Ron Capps, he didn't get into the show until the final qualifying session yesterday, and he makes it to the final round. So, like Alan Reinhart said, it's coming down to the point where qualifying doesn't even matter no more because you can win from any spot.
Oh, for sure. For sure. Mm-hmm. And, you know, they just took a couple of extra runs to get the place figured out. That's all it was. That's, you know, they struggled to the first 2 runs, but after that 394, they repeated it first round, a 99, a 98, and then unfortunately got a little out of groove in the finals and had to lift. But you could never count that team out. And I wasn't worried going into that final session. I didn't think they were going to go up there and go up and smoke. You knew they were going to make it. Was kind of concerned that even John might have gotten bumped out because of how low he was in the running order, but just squeaked by in 16th.
Mm-hmm. Let's now take a look at the highlights of our 2 finalists day here today here at Pomona. Let's kick it off right now. First round matchup, Blake Alexander taking on Matt Hagan. Like I said, Matt Hagan from the number 10 qualified position and a great run to start off the day in the cool conditions, 3.929, 330 miles per hour to Blake Alexander's 394 at 324 to move into round number 2. That is Matt Hagan taking on Alexis DeJoria. Alexis DeJoria back-to-back Mission Foods Too Fast, Too Tasty Challenge final rounds, trying to make us the semifinals once again here at Pomona. Is going to come up just a bit too short. Matt Hagan 395 at 324 to move to the semifinals. Then it's Cinderella, Terry Haddock taking on Matt Hagan. And unfortunately, the clock is going to strike midnight as Matt Hagan top end gets the win. 3.955 at 326 miles per hour to move into another final round at Pomona for Matt Hagan, Holt Hagan, here at the 63rd annual Lucas Oil NHRA Winternationals. In the final round, he'll take on Ron Capps. Ron Capps, first round, is going to take on Paul Lee. And Ron Capps, he's going to get the win right here. Top end, he gets the win. 3.947, 325, as Paul Lee has trouble as Ron Capps moves in to the quarterfinals here at Pomona. Then round number 2, taking on number 1 qualifier, Cruz Petragon. It's Cruz, it's Capps. It's a rematch of your final round here at the World Finals last year. Cruz Petragon goes bowling, and Ron Capps, 3.997, 324 to move into the semifinals. As you see, he is happy right there. Then it's BT3, Ron Capps. This is a rematch from the semifinals at the World Finals last year. Remember, Ron Capps won that matchup to basically wrap up the World Championship. He's going to get around him once again, 3.987, 323 to Bob Tasker's 407 at 298 to move into another final round to set up a big-time matchup between Ron Capps, Matt Hagan, final round here at In-N-Out Burger, Pomona Dragstrip.
A nod from Dickie Venables on the right side to Dean Antonelli on the left. And 2 3-time world champions going head-to-head for the Lucas Oil Winternationals Trophy. Ron Capps has to shut it off, and Hagan's going to the winner's circle. Haas Automation goes 396 at 328, and that's a winner. Ron Capps' car was pushing him over towards the center line. He goes 4.303, 211. He had to shut it off to keep it on his side, and that's what he did. So Capps, back-to-back final rounds, back-to-back runner-ups. And for Hagan, for Tony, for Dickie, for Mike, for Alex, 3 races, 2 wins. That's a pretty good start to the season.
32 reaction time. A leaner, meaner Matt Hagan is going to be able to hoist a Wally here. You in the offseason put in some extra work a lot of people aren't aware of. We talk in the offseason, and you've lost a lot of weight to try and help this team out, make yourself better. Explain to folks at home how important that is to you.
I just in the gym every day. I'm down 20 pounds from the end of last year, and it's just, it takes that, mentally and physically. You try to give everything you can to your team, but for this Stuart Haas, Dodge, I tell you what, man, it's running. And Dickie Venables and my crew guys, they're the only reason that we're able to turn 4 wheel lights on like this in tricky track conditions. But I just can't say enough about Tony Stewart and TSR and all the group that he puts around us in the parts and pieces. But this is for Stuart Haas. Woo!
Second win of the season for Matt Hagan. Second in the first 3 races here in 2023. 45th of his career overall. He is now the second winningest funny car driver at Pomona behind the legend, John the Brute Forrest. And so what a great win for Matt Hagan here today. Where does that put Matt Hagan in the points, Dave?
Well, that puts him where you'd expect him to be. 2 wins, 3 races. He's on top.
Hey, shout out the points for us right there.
Okay. Well, it looks like I said, mentioned, so Hagan is out first. Capps up to second. Alexis DeJoria third. You've got Robert Height fourth. Tasca fifth. Chad Green's 6th, J.R. Todd 7th, Tim Wilkerson 8th, Terry Haddock all the way up to 9th in points, just 2 points behind Tim Wilkerson, Blake Alexander 10th, and some surprises outside the top 10, Cruz Pedragon 11th and John Force 13th in the standings
John
here
Force,
after
13th in points. The first 3 races obviously still automatically makes the countdown with everything going on right now, but a guy's name that you mentioned that I want to get into is Cinderella here this weekend. And I don't know if you could really call him Cinderella because, he's been running good. Terry Haddock makes it to the semifinals here at the Winter Nationals. Round number 1, took down Robert Height and then got around who did he get around in round number 2? But gets around somebody in round number 2 to make it to the semifinals. How about Terry Haddock's day here in Pomona, Dave?
Yeah, it was great. The second round was Tim Wilkerson is who he built round 2. And Wilkerson kind of had him covered, but pipes went wet just before the finish line, and Terry Haddock gets the win. But that's just a great weekend for the team. They're not hurting anything. They're not blowing anything up. They had a great continuation from Phoenix. They had a great weekend there. And no, they're not stepping on it just yet, but everybody's got to start with a solid baseline. You got to start somewhere. You can't go out there and run 380s right off the bat. So get a solid 4.0, turn the knobs a little bit more, maybe start running 399, 398, getting down the track. Then, you slowly work your way up to it. So I think it's great. Johnny West is over there helping the team out. They got the car running great. And seemed like, and maybe you could comment on it there because you were in the crowd. He had a very big crowd following here at Pomona.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
The ovation he got back, towing back from the semis, even though he lost, just for the hard work, and making that many runs in the weekend is not something that they're used to doing.
No, for sure. The crowd was going crazy when Terry Haddock would turn on the win light, and you'll hear, like you said, when he came down the return road, you hear all the cheers and stuff like that, rooting him on, and even just overhearing people saying, when he comes to the starting line, saying how they're rooting for Terry Haddock to win the round. So definitely a big following here out at Pomona. And like you said, so Johnny West over there, obviously Johnny West, one of the best crew chiefs. He's been around for a long time, very solid crew chief, has worked with a lot of great teams. But going into round number one, like you mentioned, Tim Wilkerson, had him covered until he ran into problems. But that round number one matchup, when he went 401, Alan says it all the time. Obviously, he's not going to go out there and run 388. If Robert Hyde goes out there and run 388, obviously you can't beat that. But if Robert Hyde goes out there and stumble, if you can go out there and lay down a good, nice 4.0, you'll get the win. And that's exactly what he did. And that's what he had to do. And he got the job done. I like it.
Yeah, I mean, he did it, throughout the afternoon. Tim Wilkerson stumbled, and Matt Hagan, he finally got to the driver that didn't. Hagan went out there, and they mentioned it before the run. He goes out there, Terry Haddock's not going to go out there and run 395. Hagan did, and he beat him. Looks like he had a hole out that he was fighting. It kind of drifted over to the wall because he had a cylinder out on the left side, but he was still there. If Hagan would have just puffed the tires or dropped some cylinders themselves, or had to lift 800 foot, Terry would have marched on by and been in the finals.
Yes sir. So let's now move on. We talked about at the beginning of the show, really a weekend to forget, and this was crazy to watch from the stands. But J.R. Todd, obviously, tangled up with John Force yesterday during qualifying. And in round number one, huge explosion, has, Alex Laughlin covered. Then, just all calamity breaks loose. Body all in his face, shreds to pieces. Man, what'd you think about that explosion from J.R. Todd here today, Dave?
I thought that was a very interesting way to have a funny car body shred. And I am glad that he had that protective shield over their hands that are required, because that's a lot of body poles and rods and everything that are askew. That could be potentially pretty dangerous if they're coming back your direction.
No, I definitely agree. And like you said, it looked very weird seeing up on the big screen. I was like you said, so happy he has that, protection in front of him, because you see the body all up in his face and everything like that. And you can see as he gets out, little, looked like it took the air out of him just a little bit, just with a huge explosion. And like I said, a weekend to forget for J.R. Todd and that whole team. Tangled up with John Force in that qualifying session yesterday. That was a new race car that they wadded up yesterday. It wasn't too bad on JR's side, but still, it seems like they're going to have to get a front half on that race car. So just all around tough weekend for JR. And as we move from JR, let's now move on to the GOAT, John the Brute Force. I mean, what more can you say? Just a tough weekend for the GOAT as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's just struggles. It's a tricky track. The car got loose. It's got a cylinder out. You can see it's already driving it over that way. He's got the butterflies closed. He's chasing it. I feel like right there, he probably could have moved over a little bit more to the left, closer to the wall on that side of the track, and might have avoided the majority of the contact that ended up. But, he was under the impression that he bounced it off that wall. And I don't think in any of the replays I saw him bounce off the left lane guardrail. I think he just got over there and got behind on the steering. And, before you know it, JR was next to him. But thankfully he was next to him, because we could have had a Scotty Cannon, Frank Pedregon type situation where he got blasted in the back and destroyed a lot more. Not only his car, but JR's car. And then here, same thing, cylinder out, blitz the tires. That lane pulls you to the center as it is and catches the blocks in the final qualifying session. Now, everybody wants to harp on John, and, it is a terrible thing, but you know what? Jeff Deal got across the center line. Tim Wilkerson nicked the blocks. You saw Cruz go over to center line from the other lane. A top dragster missed the center line, but unfortunately then crossed it and had a nasty two-car top dragster accident to end the day on Saturday. You had pro stock cars heading towards the center line, having to either steer it back or push the clutch in. It seems like there's something with Pomona that Bob Tasca mentioned. The groove is very narrow, and if you get just to the left or just to the right out of it, you'll pull really hard in one direction. There's a lot of bumps there. I don't know if that's something that should be addressed. It seemingly there's a lot more cars that handled it that didn't, but there was a lot more cars that got into trouble than just John to say, oh, it's an isolated incident and John needs to retire. John needs this. John needs that. Everybody has a bad weekend. He'll go to Vegas and put 4 passes straight down each lane into 4 wides without any problem, I'm sure. So these cars are not easy to drive. And, if anybody knows how to do it and handle one, I would think it would be him.
No, I definitely agree with that. John Force, one of the best to ever do it. And, like you said, I've been doing the same thing I've always done. I haven't changed anything different. It's just a tricky track out there. I know there's a bump down there as well. And Happy Day says, why were the cars in the far lane pulled to the center? So, Pomona has always, had that problem of cars always pulling the cars to the center. Both lanes kind of do it, but it's very prevalent in that right-hand lane as well. So just something that's always been prevalent at Pomona. And it, like you said, Jeff Deal, got into the blocks. Alex Laughlin that got loose in Q3. Tim Wilkerson got into the blocks. Bob Taskett, like you said, commented on it. And so just a tricky racetrack out there. And like you said, these cars are not easy to drive whatsoever. And we saw that here this weekend.
No, and everybody wants to remember what happened to John in 2018 and how he had all those troubles with hitting the wall and blowing up the cars. And he had that explosion at Phoenix where he unfortunately got into Johnny Lindbergh in the shutdown area, but that was out of his control. The thing was just bouncing around like crazy and the chutes were out and the body was exploded off of it. It's not like he was intentionally doing that. And all of that stuff that everybody's got to say. Driving a car across the center line is different than having engine troubles or having, excessive explosions or problems that cause it. Then if you want to poke at Force, you should talk about JR and say, well, that's 2 days, 2 wrecks for him, because he was, no fault of his own on the other one. But if he saw John next to him, why didn't he move over to the right and let him go by? And then he blew it up in first round. It's just something that happens. And it's a dangerous sport and you never know when the bomb's going to go off or when it's going to get out of control or get out of hand. I know there was a couple years ago when the cars were very ill handling, but that was from the laid back headers and they were kind of skirting the front end and made them hard to drive and dart across the center line. But it doesn't happen with just the funny cars. Look at some of the dragsters that sashay down the track. Mike Salinas has gone from, center line to guardrail on many chances, runs down the track and, still gets through it. No problem. So it'll be interesting to see what happens going forward, but I don't think it's time for him to retire just yet. As a matter of fact, if there's any thought behind it, because of his age, I'd say he'll probably go to 75 and Courtney will get back in. He's been hitting that at Gainesville when Courtney was at the track that she might get back in one. So maybe that's going to be the plan. Give him to 75 and put Courtney back in it.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I don't think John Force is done anytime soon. I don't think it's a driver problem whatsoever. Like I said, John Force is one of the best to do it. Just a tricky racetrack this weekend. That's all it comes down to. And, he'll have it fixed by the time we get to Las Vegas. But you mentioned that though, as far as me and Lee Craft, the Monday Morning Racer, had that discussion here this weekend. I'm like, who replaces John Force? So if you ever did decide to get out of the driver's seat, which I believe is a few years from now, who replaces the 16-time world champion, 17 if you count his championship in AHRA? I think it would have to be either Courtney or somebody like that. I think it would be.
I think he was talking about it at Gainesville. He was saying everybody wants to know. They put her up on the big screen. They asked her, and she's like, "I'll never say never," But when she get her family started, and it could just be Courtney's in it for a couple of years until she's ready to give up the seat to Autumn, Robert's daughter.
I like it. Jimmy Ryan, thank God John Force and J.R. Todd are okay. That's all that matters. That's definitely true about that. Race cars can be fixed and replaced. Human beings cannot. So
that's
glad
right.
that John Force and J.R. Todd are definitely okay. So let's now talk about some things that are a little more positive. So Chad Green wins the Mission Foods Too Fast, Too Tasty Challenge. I would call it kind of, I don't want to call it an upset, but I don't think he was favored going into it. He gets the win, first trophy in Nitro Funny Car. Unfortunately, goes off first round here today, taking on Tim Wilkerson. Daniel Wilkerson forgot to take off the throttle stop after the burnout going into the run. So tough breaking eliminations, but Chad Green winning the Mission Foods Too Fast, Too Tasty Challenge.
That was awesome. Is nice to see a first-time winner, regardless of how it comes about. And I don't think it'll be too much longer until we see it happen on Sunday for that team too, with the way that they've been running. Simple mistake. Shame that it happened. Who knows how that first-round race would have turned out against him. But, you definitely not heard the last of Chad Green for a long time. And like I say, he's up there in the points too. So I think if he can continue on through the season, could even be a contender come countdown time.
I definitely agree with that. Definitely be a spoiler for sure. I think Chad Green could
at the
definitely be a
very
spoiler.
least, yeah, which he was
Definitely
last year anyway. So,
Yeah.
that'd be great to see. And shout out to Alex Laughlin, who was alongside JR's bomb, getting his first career round win this morning, first round. Not the way I'm sure that he wanted to do it, but got it nonetheless.
Real quick. I'm gonna let the Monday morning racer in. He's locked out. I'm gonna let him get on screen real quick. Hold on. One second. I'm bringing on the Monday morning racer. Hold on. Bring it real quick. 1 second.
I don't know. It might be a good idea to leave him locked out. He might be locked out for a reason.
Special appearance. Hey, it's In-N-Out Burgered up in this media in this room right here. Monday morning racer Lee Craft.
Yo.
So Dave asked me, I was like, how much In-N-Out Burger did you eat here this weekend? I told him none because I live in Southern California. How much In-N-Out Burger did you eat?
I had one double today for breakfast, and I enjoyed it for breakfast very much. So I'm glad they were here. They're already serving early. It was juicy, tasty, and I enjoy the double because it's like the right amount. It's not too big. It's not too small. It is just right.
And so you mentioned
breakfast. I did see that on Facebook, sitting in an empty grandstand with a double at 8 a.m.
Yes.
Breakfast of champions right there.
Dude, it was great. I want to do
Only
it again.
one of the weekend. That's it.
Only one. I was a good boy.
Man, you guys are letting me down.
Look, I'm down like 40 pounds. I want to keep it going. I want to keep the momentum.
Hey, he didn't tell you about the Mexican food we've been eating all weekend, though.
We don't sponsor the racetrack. If it was the Mexican Food Nationals, I could see all about that. But it's the In-N-Out Burger, Pomona Raceway. So you got to go and support that. It's just like when you go to Martinsville, you got to get to Martinsville hot dogs. So you got to have like the In-N-Out Burger challenge when you go.
Southern California is known for its In-N-Out Burger and Mexican food. We have the best Mexican food out here, so you had to have it, We got some great Mexican food.
Mexican food was good.
It was great.
Taco Bell?
It was great.
It was great.
Best?
Hating. Okay. Speaking of food, we haven't got the top field yet, but you mentioned doubles. Justin Ashley, double, wins the Mission Foods Too Fast He Saves the Challenge on Saturday, wins the race on Sunday.
Did he triple?
Because he also won number one qualifier. There you go.
And he won Phoenix.
Dominating weekend. Dominating weekend. And I think a performance, and I asked this in the media center with him, Justin, do you think this is the last piece of the puzzle for you to actually run and earn a championship? Because they typically win a race and then they go out early. They win a race and then they win a race and they win it in big fashion. Number one qualifier, win the race within a race, and then actually go win the Wally on Sunday. That was impressive.
So overall this weekend, we talked about sellout crowds in Gainesville. We talked about sellout crowds in Phoenix. Obviously, it wasn't a sellout this weekend here at Pomona, but I would say all in all, great crowd Saturday, of course, and then today here for eliminations as well.
Yeah, it was a good crowd. It was hard to get around at times, for sure. I just don't understand the nature of fans. They don't come early. They don't stay late. I don't know. I don't understand. Mm-hmm. I mean, I know why I stay late, and I've got reasons, but
I know the reasons too. I know the reasons too, but
hey. Good show. Man's doing a good job. All you out there, hit the like button, comment, subscribe. Monday Morning Racer.
Okay, hold on. Before you get out of here, though, you're heading to Vegas for Spring Fling to do the starting light camera.
Yes.
But what are you about to go do right now? What are you about to go do right now? Just curious.
I'm going to go back to the media center.
Okay.
Because I already did what I needed to do.
Gotcha. Okay. Take care, man. Ladies and gentlemen, Lee Craft, the Monday Morning Racer, making an appearance on Inside the NHRA. Sorry to cut you off, Dave. Where are you at, man? Where were we at?
I don't even know. Where were we at? What were we talking about? Where did we leave off?
Give shout outs. Well, I'll give him shout outs. I'm gonna give a shout out to my man. I hang out at a shop every now and then in Orange County, California. Orange County, the home of funny cars. I mean, all the legends have come from Orange County, California. Jason Rupert, career best 399 in qualifying, finally going sub 4 seconds here in NHRA Big Show Funny Car Racing. So shout out to my man, Jason Rupert. How about that?
Oh, is that what we're going through? We're talking about our other funny car superlatives?
Yeah, just, shouting out some other drivers.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Not only that, but Alex Laughlin in the threes again. That was great for him. How about Jeff Aren and the Russo team? One-shot qualifying, goes 4:12. They had a new Toyota body that they were trying to get out for the weekend, was unable to get it mounted properly and everything repaired and ready to go on it. I don't think we'll see it in Vegas either because the races are too close to each other, but they're stepping up in a big way. They got an old DHL Camry body that Jeff facilitated getting from the Colettas, and they'll be out there for quite some time more. But yeah, that was great to see them in the show. Shame that they smoked the tires right off the hit in first round against Alexis, but shout out to Jeff Deal. again, shame to see that he didn't get his 3-second run. Shame that he got across the center line in that final round of qualifying. They had a really good early numbered run on Friday. It was an early shutoff, and unfortunately was unable to capitalize on it on Saturday. Surprise DNQ for Steven Densham. They had a couple of troubles, but just a shout out to the West Coast funny car teams that we don't get to see very often, but they always come out in full force here at Pomona and Sonoma, and hopefully Vegas here in a couple of weeks too.
That is for sure. Let's now see how your favorite driver fared here at the Winter Nationals and the Mission Foods Too Fast, Too Tasty Challenge. We'll re-rack it in Chicago. Ron Capps, Bob Tasca, and Matt Hagan and Terry Haddock will go ahead. And how about it? Terry Haddock in the Mission Foods Too Fast, Too Tasty Challenge. But in the end, Matt Hagan gets the win. Second win of the year for Matt Hagan. Second in the first 3 races of the season. 45th of his career. And like I said, he is now the second winningest funny car driver out of Pomona. In-N-Out Burger Pomona Dragstrip behind the legend, John the Brute Force. Congratulations to Matt Hagan and that whole Tony Stewart Nitro Racing team. So, Pro Stocks in the books, Nitro Funny Cars in the books, but the Camping World Series wasn't the only drivers on the property here this weekend. Dave, shout out our Lucas Oil Sportsman winners here at the Lucas Oil NHRA Winternationals.
They were varied and many. Joey Severance comes out, makes his national event debut for the year, and goes out there and wins the race. And it was a very interesting performance by the blown cars versus the A-Fuel cars this weekend. They were definitely outnumbered, and the blown cars got it done when it came time to the down to the money round. Doug Gordon in Top Alcohol Funny Car. Andrew Moak, first career win, competition eliminator. Top Dragster and Superstock. We've got a double up by Anthony Bertazzi. Wins his 29th and 30th Wallies. And his second double up. His first one was in Epping way back in 2013. Kyle Rizzoli wins stock. Jessica Bagaki picks up her first win in Super Comp. Marco Peravalaris in Super Gas. And Chris Newman in Top Sportsman. Also not listed, but 1320 Legends Funny Cars were there. Corey Mack picks up his first ever Winter Nationals win, and he does it in a Nitro Funny Car.
Yeah, man. Congratulations to Corey Mack in the Mack Attack car. Glenn Micharis, the crew chief on that car, took down Tim Boychuk in the happy hour in the final round to win the Winter Nationals in the Legends Nitro Funny Cars debut here in Pomona. I know they raced in Las Vegas. I feel like that was just kind of like a soft debut kind of exhibition, but this is for points, and congratulations to Corey Mack getting the job done.
And hard to believe, so it's not his first win at Pomona, but it's his first Winter Nationals win.
Yes.
The only two that he won at Pomona and Top Fuel were the World Finals.
Yes.
Which was ironic. I mean, you think of his very lengthy Top Fuel career and the successes that he had and set the national record at Pomona. He's always had good luck at the Winter Nationals. Never won the race. Mm-hmm. Finally got one, though. Finally got a Winter Nationals Wally to go with his Winston Finals Wallies.
Kind of ironic, too, because we're talking about all this In-N-Out Burger stuff, but, obviously Corey Mack, sponsored by McDonald's back in the day, Corey Mack, we talk about double doubles. Well, he's Big Mac, and he gets the win here out of the Winter Nationals. So we got to move on. Pro Stocks in the books. Nitro Funny Cars in the books. Dave, you messed it up last week. What are we moving on to now, man?
Top Fuel Eliminator.
I don't know if we call it a double-double, a triple-triple. I don't know, but Justin Ashley, he took it all. Back-to-back wins on the season. Back-to-back Winter Nationals wins. He wins the Mission Foods Too Fast, Too Tasty Challenge on Saturday and took the #1 qualifying spot away from Brittany Forrest. Justin Ashley did it all here this weekend here at Pomona.
They don't get much better than that, do they?
They do not.
They don't get much better than that. Yeah, this is his first win that he ever had from a #1 qualifier. 7th overall, ties him with Mike Salinas and Hot Rod Fuller, if you remember him back in the David Powers Homes days. Not only did he win the Winter Nationals 2022, this was a final round repeat. It was him and Austin Prock all over again, deja vu, and same results. And much like Matt Hagan, 2 wins out of the first 3 races, where that's going to put him in the Top Fuel standings as we're heading on through. So yeah, I mean, what letdowns that the team had at the end of last year with not putting it together and not ending up with the championship. They've definitely hit their stride here early in 2023, and they are on the comeback trail.
They definitely have done that. Let's now take a look at Justin Ashley's highlights here at the Winternationals. First round taking on Crystal Baldwin, and Justin Ashley right out the box, 3.719, 329 to move into round number 2. And with only 14 cars on the property here this weekend, he will get a bye in round number 2, and that's coming up in just a little bit. As you see it right now, Justin Ashley, 371.9 in round number 1. He's going to go 371.2 in round number 2, 3.712, 329 to move into the semifinals here at the Lucas Oil NHRA Winternationals. Semifinals, he'll take on Antron Brown, kind of his teammate here in the semifinals. And what a drag race this is going to be. You usually never see this. Identical ETs and identical speeds. Justin Ashley, 047 on the tree. Antron Brown, 049 on the tree. Top end, Justin Ashley gets the win. 3.743, 331 to Antron Brown's 3.749, 331. Dave, that like never happens. That was a drag race.
That was definitely a drag race. They came, that no team orders there. They had identical tune-ups in the car, thousands, just a couple thousandths in ET, just a couple thousandths in RT, and a tenth of a mile an hour in speed. And it just goes to show that, like Alan always says, when you see runs like that, there is no bad lane on this racetrack. You can get down them both.
For sure, for sure. In the final round, he'll take on Austin Prock. As you guys all know, Austin Prock closed out the season last year with the win at Pomona. First round, he's going to take on Leah Pruitt. Leah Pruitt, great start to the season, back-to-back semifinals, but she's going to go out first round right here. Blips the tires. Austin Prock sails on through 3.739, 331 to move into the second round here at Pomona. From the number 12 qualifying position, I should add as well. Then it's Austin Prock taking on the 4-time Camping World Top Fuel Champion of the World, Steve Torrance. Steve Torrance runs into trouble, and Austin Prock gets the win. Only at 382.2 at 318. But he takes down the 4-time champ to move to the semifinals here at Pomona. Then it's the teammates. It's the world champion. It's Brittany Forrest, and it's Austin Prock. Brittany Forrest runs into problems, and Austin Prock, 3.734, 331, and moves into his 4th career final round here at In-N-Out Burger Pomona Dragstrip. So it's Justin Ashley. It's Austin Prock. It's your rematch of your Winternationals final from 2022, and we're going to take a look at it now here in 2023. It's Justin Ashley, Austin Prock. Let's take a look at that final round right now.
It's the 2023 edition of the Lucas Oil NHRA Winternationals, and it's the Top Fuel Final. Ashley, 3.713, 330 miles an hour. Austin goes 376 at 327 miles an hour. Justin Ashley, again, 0.33 on the reaction timer. Absolutely incredible. 371 on the racetrack. He started today with a 71. He ran a 71 in the second round, a 74 on the hotter track last round, and dipped her right back down to a 371 at 330 miles an hour. Justin Ashley wins for the 9th time down to the starting line.
Justin Ashley just told me it's more like relief. Well, you know what? This guy just won back-to-back national event titles. He's won a mission challenge along the way, 10 straight rounds. You've got the number 1 qualifier car coming this weekend. You swept everything, and deadly on the tree as usual. How are you able to stay so composed all throughout race weekend?
Well, it becomes much easier when you have the kind of team that we do. I'll tell you that much. It really takes an entire team effort, start to finish, not only on the race weekends, but during the week. And I mean on and off the racetrack. This car has been on absolute rails. I think it's 10 straight win lights. And one thing I've learned is that's one win light that you never get sick of looking at. So just really proud of our guys all day long. We brought the smarts to this Phillips Connect Smart Trailer Technology team. For everybody at National Debt Relief, Toyota, Kato, Mac Tools, Lucas Oil, Impact, all the guys that do such a wonderful job supporting us. Merlin Solar, you guys brought out the good luck this weekend. We are really going to enjoy this one. Thank you.
Dave, I think it was the easy choice, man. Who is it, man? High performer of the race. Just give it away. Just give it away.
It's very easy. It's going to be Justin Ashley. He's been the high performer of the race last 2 weeks, really. Could call him, There are not enough accolades for what the man has accomplished the last couple of national events here. So congratulations to Justin Ashley for being the high performer of the race, and we'll see if that can carry on that momentum on to Vegas and the 4 wides.
For sure, for sure. Congratulations to Justin Ashley. He is our high performer of the race here at the 2023 Lucas Oil NHRA Winternationals as he picks up the win, second win of the season, goes back-to-back, won Phoenix, goes back-to-back at the Winternationals. And like I said, he took it all, won the Mission Foods Too Fast, Too Tasty Challenge yesterday and was #1 qualifier. So congratulations to him. So obviously, we talked about it, had the championship in his grasp last year. We had a pretty comfortable points lead going into Las Vegas. Went out first round the last 2 races of the season in Las Vegas and Pomona. Went out first round in Gainesville, but first race of the season, we can kind of throw that out. Back-to-back wins. They have come out swinging. They have shown that they are still a championship contending team. We know at some point they're going to go through a lull in the middle of the season, probably try some new stuff, but definitely for sure, once we get to the countdown, this team is going to be a for sure team to play for the championship. And I would say, probably the favorite to win a championship here in 2023.
Well, if you look at the runs that they had today, I mean, driver and car were just on it. I mean, Justin's Worth Light of all 4 rounds of eliminations was an 0.55 on his solo pass in round 2. His worst run of the day came in the semifinals, run against Antron when he went at 74. Otherwise, the other 3 runs were 371s, just thousandths apart. So, I mean, you're cutting 030 lights and you're running low ET at around. It's going to be hard to get around you. So they definitely had the setup for the track, and they adjusted to it when they needed to the most to get it down through there. And yeah, I guess you always got to try something sooner or later to stay ahead of the competition. But right now, I'm curious to see how long this win light streak can continue on going into Vegas and see how he fares there at the 4 wides.
In the final round, taking on Austin Prague. I guess you could say Austin Prague, he loves Pomona. 4th career final round at Pomona. Like I said, come off a win out the World Finals last season. And it just seems like these 2 dudes, they just always seem to run into each other at final rounds, especially here at Pomona.
Yeah, and it's a shame that Justin never had the opportunity to race the final against Leah the year that it got moved to July because of the heat stroke and just the ungodly hot temperatures, and made the wise choice by shutting, not trying to attempt to run the car, but that could have been another Wally in his pocket from Pomona too. So yeah, they definitely excel. Certain drivers do well at certain tracks, and it seems like this is the track for them too.
Mm-hmm. Let's see how your favorite driver fared in Top Fuel Eliminator today here at the Winternationals. And as we move to Chicago, the Too Fast, Too Tasty Challenge will be Justin Ashley, Antron Brown, and Brittany Force and Austin Prague. So that's a great re-racking of the semifinals when we get out to Route 66 Raceway in Chicago, Illinois. And so let's now to our weekly Coletta Motorsports segment, like we always do on this show, for no reason. Doug Coletta went out first round, a tough break for him. But Sean Langdon, every first round he has been in this season has been determined on a hole shot. Lost on a hole shot to Antron Brown at Gainesville, beat Antron on a hole shot here last weekend in Phoenix, and then wins on a hole shot here today here at Pomona to defeat Tony Schumacher. How about that, man? Langdon, one of the best to do it, especially on the starting line.
Yeah, he really is. And I mean, not to, the Coletta team in general, for some reason that was the car that seemed to excel this weekend. I mean, Doug didn't really run good in qualifying. He still only had a best of 379. Was really surprised to see him go up and smoke, right at the hit the way that he did in first round. But we're not gonna bag on them too much. I mean, they had such a tough time with the funny car, losing 2 of them and struggling with Doug's car. And, Sean's was kind of the only shining light, and he goes out round 2 and gets outrun and left on, surprisingly, by Brittany Force 046 to his 66 and goes out there and runs a couple hundreds quicker than him too. So but they're making good clean passes, they're gathering notes, they're not blowing stuff up. So I think everything is a positive. It's a step in the right direction, and as we always talk about, when it gets time to the fall, they're going to be in the countdown anyway, so they're still going to be in contention.
I definitely agree. And then you go back to funny car. Matt Hagan gets the win for Tony Stewart Racing Nitro. Leah Pruitt, great start to the season. Back-to-back semifinals for her. Went to the final round of the Mission Foods Too Fast, Too Tasty Challenge yesterday. Ran great in that as well. Unfortunately, loses in the first round today. But going forward, Leah Pruitt, I think, is a player here in 2023 in Top Fuel.
Yeah, I think Pomona was just a stumbling block, a little bit tricky racetrack this morning in first round, and some surprises that we didn't see happening. But I think part of it too was, I hate to say it as a negative point, but we didn't have a full field. We only had 14 cars that showed up. Everybody that showed up raced, which makes Austin Prague qualifying 12th even more of a shock, because that means there's only 2 cars that ran worse than he did all throughout qualifying. And those were Ron August and Krista Baldwin, who never made it on the track. But what a 14 car ladder does is you don't have easy first rounds. I mean, you got hitters versus hitters first round. And I was absolutely shocked. Josh Hart almost stole one from Steve Torrance. I thought he had right at the end there. He got that thing right. But Clay Millican and Mike Salinas first round. Austin Prock and Leah. Leah ran good in qualifying, but you don't expect to draw Austin Prock first round. Krista Baldwin struggled. Ron August struggled. So I would say that Justin and Brittany kind of had somewhat easy round potentials against them. But Antron and Doug, even if Doug made it down the track, Antron comes out with low ET 369, and that was going to be hard to beat. That was a tenth quicker than Doug had run all weekend, so he would have had to really pull one out of the hat to even be close. And like you mentioned, Langdon and Schumacher, Langdon takes it on a hole shot, but they were only separated by a couple thousandths in ET. These are not matches you expect to see first round, but just like in pro stock, the field is so deep, and you start trimming the ladder because you don't have a full field of cars. You don't have much of a choice. Some of the big names are not going to make it out of the first round.
Cool question, and this is just off subject. I'm just want to curious, get your opinion on it. I know why they do the, and there's less cars. They do the everybody gets a matchup in the first round. Would you like it to be so 14 cars? Do you like it to where it's everybody gets a matchup first round and then the second round there's a bye? Or would you like it to where in the first round, say like the first top 2 cars, 1 or 2 qualifiers gets a bye and then everybody gets a matchup in the second round? Just throwing it out there. What do you think?
I think the ladders are laid out the way that they are for a reason. The really sad one was comp last week or the other week in Phoenix when I only think they had 5 cars. So you got a 5-car ladder, you got buys everywhere, and then the one guy broke, so the other guy had like a buy. He was like straight into the finals, and it's like, what? Nothing you can do. It lays out the way that it is. You want it laid out to have the most head-to-head matchups possible. But if you've only got 13 cars showing up, you can't have, you can't go out there and have 4 first-round singles just to let these guys go down the track and just to keep the matchups like they should be in round 2. I will say that because in the majority of my time watching, I didn't see or experience short fields. I didn't realize until I think it was Epping 2013 or 14 when they finally had a short funny car field that they even went to those ladders if they had, 14 cars. I think it's 15 is they'll give them 2 buys. Number 1 and number 2 can get a buy. But when you get to 14 or less, then now you're giving 1 full bracket out. So the buy keeps going further and further into eliminations. So I was surprised by that because I had never experienced that before. They had like 13 funny cars show up and I'm like, well, how are they going to do this? And then they had, a ladder layout like that. And I'm like, man, there's no room for error. And I think that was the year that Haddock beat Caps in first round too, out of nowhere. So no, I think it's fine. It sucks that that there's got to be a buy run anyway. I'd rather see 25 top fuel dragsters show up, and especially, being in Southern California, it seems like the nitro contingent is more funny car biased. Where did all the SoCal top fuel teams go? Because that used to be, one of the big ones. We'd come down there, and all of a sudden, Pomona, you'd have 20 cars out of nowhere at the Winternationals and the finals, and it seems like that's kind of tapering off, which is sad.
For sure. Before we get out of here, Dave, quickly, because I have to write the pro stock recap for this event and WrestleMania. I got to get to that too. Read off the top field point standings for us real quick if you can.
You're writing off WrestleMania recap?
No, and the pro stock recap.
Oh.
No, but I gotta go watch. I gotta go watch. WrestleMania.
You gotta go watch WrestleMania. Got it. Justin Ashley leads the point. Steve Torrance is second, 45 behind. Mike Salinas is 10 more back of Steve. Brittany Force 4th. Austin Prock with his final round today is up to 5th. Leah 6th. Sean Langdon 7th. Doug Galetta 8th. Antron Brown 9th. Tony Schumacher 10th. And some of the early season surprise struggles, Josh Hart and Clay Millican are both tied for 11th. Then you've got Krista Baldwin and then the rest of the teams that have shown up to just one event. So Top Fuel has been, unfortunately, a little underwhelming this year. Looks like a 12-car countdown. As 12 teams, there will be 12 full-time teams that make it through. But it's a shame. I wish that the field was a little bit deeper and just a couple more cars just to make qualifying interesting.
Man, tough for Josh Hart, too. You come out when the Pep Boys All-Star Top Fuel called at Gainesville and then 3 consecutive first-round losses to start the season. I hope that team turns it around out at Las Vegas. Before we get out of here, though, Peter Cotro's production says, what's up, Darren? So shout out to Peter Cotro. Does some great video work for the Heritage Series. That is the brother of 5-time Hot Rod Heritage Series funny car champion, Bobby Cotro. So I want to give a shout out to Peter right there. And then the Monday Morning Racer, who just tuned in for, just checked in for a little bit, says, make sure to hit that like button. Definitely do that. And Michael says, Bertozzi doubles up. Congratulations to him. And then Drag Racing Central says, Justin Ashley is the man. And I love this comment right here from Robert Rocks. He says, this is a really good show. Covers so much information and a very good coverage of the last national event. Thank you, Robert. And thank you for your support. And thank you for tuning in to Inside the NHRA. NHRA. I really do appreciate that. Michael says, did you know the Severs family owns Woodburn, Oregon Dragstrip? I did not know that. So thank you for filling us in on that right there. Monday Morning Racer says, Coletta, man, what a rough weekend. Yeah, what a rough weekend for Coletta Motorsports. And then 3Fan Forever says, the biggest reason for the comp field was so light in Phoenix was the D4 race going on in Houston with all the bonus money. Monday Morning Racer says, Orange County is Funny Car County. Look forward to that note from Jason Rupert on Competition Plus YouTube coming out in just a little bit, coming out soon. Participation countdown needs to go. I definitely do agree with that, but can't get into that because I have to get out of here. Congratulations. Any final words before we get out of here, though, Dave? Any final words from you?
Nope. Thought it was a great race. Ready to go on to Vegas and see how the season continues. Definitely some surprises, seeing a couple of repeat winners this early in the year. Pro stock 3 for 3, but repeats in Top Fuel and Funny Car. It'll be curious to see as we go forward how the points start to shake up and if anybody really puts themselves out and kind of asserts their own dominance in each category.
Is this the fastest show we've ever done? An hour and 6 minutes in. I mean, usually we're going hour 30, hour and 45, 2 hours. This is the quickest show I think we've ever done.
That's right. We covered it all.
Thank you guys all for tuning into this special edition of Inside the NHRA here on American Hot Rod Entertainment and Competition Plus YouTube and Facebook channel. If you haven't, like and share this show, let everybody know we broke down the 2023 Lucas Oil NHRA Winternationals from the newly rebranded In-N-Out Pomona Dragstrip. As you guys can all see, the sun is setting here on Pomona. We will be back in November, though. So, man, I love this place. Been coming here since I was a little kid. Thank you guys for tuning in, and congratulations one more time to our winners here today here in Pomona. Congratulations to Dallas Glenn for getting the win in Pro Stock. Congratulations to Matt Hagan notching the victory in Nitro Funny Car, and to Justin Ashley in Top Fuel Eliminator. We'll see you guys in 2 weeks in Las Vegas, everybody. Good night.
Good night.